Okay, this is lesson 45 for 7th grade, and today we're talking about dividing with decimals. We're going to make sure we do things the longhand way today, but it'll be nice, to be able to check with the calculator. But we want to review our longhand division, and if we need to, well, checking with the calculator is fine, but we want to practice our longhand division here. So, oops, there we go. Alright, so our goals today, we will divide numbers with decimals in the divisor, the dividend, and sometimes we'll have decimals in both the divisor and the dividend. And we will understand why dividing by a small number results in a large number answer, or vice versa, why dividing by a large number might result in a small number answer. Okay. So we're going to go through a bunch of examples today, basically, and just kind of look and see what happens when we divide by decimals. So really this is 3.35 divided by 0.05. So we're breaking 3.35 up into 0.05 parts. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense when we think about it. But what we have to do is when we have a decimal for the divisor, we have to move it over so that we have a whole number out here. So we move this twice. We also have to move this over twice. Okay? So now we have a new division problem, which is 5 and 335. So there we have a problem that we can deal with now. So 5 goes into 33 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. We subtract 33 and 30. We get 3. Drop our 5 down. 5 goes into 35 7 times evenly. 7 times 5 is 35. Remainder of 0, so we're done. So 3.35 divided by 0.05 gives us 67, which is a pretty big number. So we should see that when we divide by small numbers, we're actually going to get a large number answer. So if we have a larger number divided by a very small number, we're going to get a bigger answer. We could just look at that quick. Let's say we have 10 divided by 10, we get 1. But 10 divided by 5 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So as the divisor gets smaller, we get a larger answer, because we're breaking it up into bigger parts, basically. So this is 10 broken up into 5 parts, 10 broken up into 2 parts. So if we get real small, 10 divided by 1, that's not real small, but we get 10. And if we go even smaller, 10 divided by 0.01, we end up getting a fairly large number. So as we go down, it gets increasingly large. And that comes up more so in high school, but it's good to see. Alright, so let's check this one out. Let's divide 0.144 and 0.8. So this divided into. Alright, so once again we want to make this a whole number, so we move it over 1 decimal place. We do that here too. So now we have 8 divided by 1, or 1.44 divided by 8. 8 does not go into 1 and bring our decimal point up, but 8 does go into 14 once. 1 times 8 is 8. 14 minus 8 is 6. Drop that 4 down, we get 64. 8 goes into 64 8 times evenly. 8 times 8 is 64. And remainder of 0, so answer is 0.18. Alright? So basically what we're doing is we're moving our decimal place over if we have a decimal in the divisor, and we want to get a whole number. We want to end up dividing with whole numbers because that's what we're familiar with. Okay, 21 divided by 0.5. Now 0.5 is 1/2. And I want to keep that in your brains while we do this. So 0.5. So this is basically saying how many halves go into 21? Well, we know that the number 1 goes into 21 times. So there should be double amount of halves that go in there. And we'll see that that should be the case because we're going to move this over. And we're going to take this decimal, move it over. So now we have 5 goes into 210. So 5 goes into 21 4 times. Subtract 21, 20, 10, 42. Alright. So how many halves go into 21? 42 of them do. Alright. So basically when you divide by a half, it's the same thing as doubling this, your dividend. So that's a relationship that we will run into quite often as well. Alright, let's do one more of these, and then we'll move on to a different one. Let's see. So 1.54 divided by 0.8. And we want a whole number out here, so we're going to move that over once. Move that over once, so we have 8 and 15.4. 8 goes into 15 once. Subtract, we get 7. Drop that 4 down, we get 74. So let's see, we're going to have to do a little guess and check here. 8 times 9. Nope, not a guess and check. 9 times 8 is 72. We're going to have to add a 0 for a placeholder. 4 minus 2 is 2. Drop that 0 down. We get 8 goes into 20 twice. 2 times 8 is 16. We're going to have to add another placeholder 0. 20 minus 16 is 4. Drop that 0. And finally we get a number that 8 goes into. 8 goes into 45 times. 1.925. So we might have to add some placeholders there, but we've done that before. So just make sure you keep dividing until you're done. You get a remainder of 0, or unless you see that it's going to be a repeated decimal. Okay. Oh, this is a good one to see. Okay. So this says 0.7 times x equals 5.6. So we're trying to figure out what x is. Well, right away I'm going to do this. And now we have 0.7x equals 56. That, we could do that. To solve for x, we would take 56 divided by 0.7. But let's move it over one more and see if that's easy. Move that over. Our decimal is here now. Move that over. We add a 0. So we have 7x equals 560. So these are little tricks of the trade here. What looks very confusing can actually be turned into a very simple problem. Because we know that 7 goes into 56 8 times. And we just add a 0. So 80. 7 times 80 should be 560. Alright, so we can use this method to help make things a lot easier. Like I said, a problem that looks very confusing really isn't. Move your decimal over the same amount of spots for both numbers, and you can still do that division. Or that calculation. Alright, and our last one here. Check my time and make sure we're doing okay. That we are. Last one. How many 35-cent erasers can be purchased with $7? So we're looking for how many 35 cents goes into $7. So let's take a look. This says 0.35 So we're going to move this decimal over twice, and this one twice, same amount. So we have 35, 700. Alright, 35 goes into 70 twice. 2 times 35 is 70. Subtract, bring down our 0. 35 goes in there 0 times. So we should be able to get 20 erasers at 35 cents if we have $7 with us. And I think that's all I had for us today, or at least for now. That is all we have for today. So we'll hit more of this tomorrow.